Hello everyone, welcome to the fundamental analysis tutorial series for forex traders. We are going to discuss another topic, so let's get started. Today we are going to talk about inflation. Inflation is a very important concept in understanding the overall economy of a country because then it determines that what state of economy is in and what decisions as a forex trader you can take to have a successful trade. So let's get started. So what is inflation? In order to understand inflation, let's first understand some economic fundamentals. Economic fundamentals is just another name of study of the economies of the countries whose currencies are being traded in forex trading. It also includes analyzing the economic news, figures released by different departments within a country, which may have lesser, greater impact on current economic situation. In the same way, some data is available in the form of summaries, scheduled time, forecast, and outcomes of these economic news, and these are available on different online portals, for example, Financial News, Forex Live, and Forex Factory. So what happens when we have these scheduled forecast economic data and indicators? So when they come out, we see unprecedented or extreme volatility that happens in the market. This helps us to analyze this data so that we avoid taking wrong decisions by using our technical analysis as well. And then it also provides us higher risk reward opportunity if aligned with the technical analysis. So let's discuss what are the economic policies of a country. So the central bank in every country manages two types of policies. One is fiscal policy, the other is monetary policy. Fiscal policy is the means by which a government adjusts its spending levels, income and expenses, and tax rates to monitor and influence a nation's economy. On the other hand, a monetary policy are the actions of a central bank, a currency board, or other regulatory committee that determine the size and rate of growth of the money supply, which in turn affects interest rates. Monetary policy is maintained through actions such as modifying the interest rate, buying or selling government bonds, and changing the amount of money banks are required to keep in their vault. In other words, it's also called bank reserves. So monetary policy, the central bank monitor three KPIs to manage their monetary policies. These are number one, inflation, number two, growth, and number three, employment. So now let's discuss what inflation is. Now we have discussed some economic fundamentals. So inflation is basically, you see this red balloon, is inflation is the circulated currency notes in the market in a particular country. So let's look at it from an example. For example, there are 1000 units of bread and the same amount of currency notes are available in the market, that is 100,000. So the price of one bread will be 1. So what happens that the central bank then prints more currency notes. It doubles the amount of currency notes from 100,000 to 200,000. Now we have double the currency notes, but we have the same amount of bread available in the market. So now each bread will cost 2. So in the same way, if the central bank prints more money on top of it and it prints another 300,000, so now we have 500,000 circulated currency notes in the market, but at the same time we have only 100,000 units of bread available. So what will happen now, 1 unit of bread will cost 5. Okay, so this is how the inflation happens in a country, the circulated currency notes in the market. So as central bank prints more money, it increases inflation. The excessive supply of currency notes reduces the demand or the value of the currency. So inflation, how the central bank determines the size of the money supply, how they determine that how much money is there in the market. So they have different tools. that they employ to determine the size of the money supply. For example, they look at long-term deposits in banks and savings schemes. Then they also look at money sent outside the country as profit of a foreign organization or as remittance by foreign labor force to their respective countries. And then they also look at money stored physically to avoid taxes. For example, black money, people keep money at home or some safe places. And then some money which is laundered out of the country. So they factor in all these factors to determine the size of the money supply. Now, inflation is not at all a bad thing. It has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. So higher inflation is good for export-based countries. For example, it increases employment. Higher inflation adds more money into the financial system. As a result, commercial banks have access to more credit, which is further lent to new businesses for startup. As a result, these new startups and expansions require more workforce, thus higher inflation strengthens the job market. It also increases exports. So higher inflation adds more money in the financial system, so the excess supply decreases the value of money. When it decreases the value of money, the currency loses its value against foreign currencies. So now when foreign countries relatively find the products and services cheaper, so they buy, import more, which in turn increases the exports of the economy having higher inflation. So on the third, it also increases growth. Increase in the exports causes higher demand of products and services which are produced by businesses. So what happens as a result? Economy grows and GDP increases. But then on the other hand, there are disadvantages of inflation, and mainly though households are the ones who get affected by the disadvantages of inflation. First, there is low savings, because goods become expensive, so a lot of money is spent, so there are low savings. So low interest rate, if people have money, they put into banks, so they don't get higher yield on interest rate because the interest rates are lower. Number three, money transfer from saver and investors to debtors. So what happens that it's easier for debtors to pay their debt as inflation reduces the interest rate. Number four, inefficient government spending. So what happens when the government prints more money, then their spending also becomes inefficient on the printed money. But when they get via taxes, they are accountable to some extent. We also see if there is more money printed in a country, it goes into bad investments, and then there are higher taxes. Higher income due to inflation results in higher taxes. All right, that's about it. See you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.